So today we'll be talking about a version control system. In the last class, like yesterday, we have just had an overview or a big level picture of the pipeline, right? And if you see the CI/CD pipeline, it was like a chain of tools or integration of the tools, right? So we will be zooming into each tool. We'll be learning each tool and then we'll get started with the pipeline. So we'll be starting with a version control system as our first tool in the pipeline. So let's begin with the version control systems. Like what is a version control system? Why do you need a version control system and all? So version control system is one which help you manage your projects better, maintain your project base, like maintain your files, maintain the backup of the files and all. Let's get into more details or more depth of what it does. So what is a version control system? To understand this, let me explain with a simple example. Let's suppose there is some project, like let's say all the project work, all the project documents were on some folder on some shared drive, let's say. This is file one. There were multiple people who need to work on it. Let's talk about developers. There are two developers, developer A and developer B. Both of them want to work on it. They have downloaded this file to their local computer. They made some changes and let's say A put the file back on day one, right? And B has made his changes and he put his file back on B2, day 2, right? This is day 2. So the file 1 here after day 2 will have which person changes? I'm talking about a scenario without using version control system. If this is the case, like if this file is modified by both of them at the same time and this is how they applied their changes, this file 1 is going to have which person changes by the end?
B.
Person B, right? A simple logic here, as we are not using any version control system, changes are being overwritten. Means one person changes are overwriting the others. Person B changes are overwriting other person A changes, right? This is happening unknowingly. Like B doesn't know that he's overwriting changes of A. Similarly, A doesn't know his changes are being overwritten. They'll be working on the logic, they'll be working on the code. They can't check which person is the changes are overwriting is, whether his changes are saved, secured properly or not, right? All of them they cannot manage. So how to manage the files? If this keep on continuing, let's say there were 10 members in the team. If this keep on happening, project gets corrupted or messed up, isn't it? So how to handle this scenario? How can we we avoid this kind of overwriting one person changes by the how to handle this? So that's one of the reasons where version control system comes in. If you have used version control system, it will allow teams to work parallelly, simultaneously, right? People can work parallelly on the same files without getting overwriting, which can be taken care. Because manually we can't do all of this. We need a system which allows this. Not only that, we need a system which provides detailed logging. What is logging? Like let's suppose today till 6 o'clock application is fine, at 6:15 application went down. Like we need to revert the changes back immediately. Means we need to know what changes happened during this 15 minutes, right? So we need a system which can provide a detailed logging in such a way that okay, there is a file 1, person B made changes on line number 8 at 6:07 a.m. This kind of detailed logging, including the timestamp, is very important, right? So people will be again working on the files, managing their code base and all. They can't just work on checking which person made changes at what time. But in case you want to revert, you want to keep the business up and running, you want to bring the application back very quickly. This kind of logging will help you. Again, version control is the system which helps us with this, right? Also, having a backup of the files, it helps us to maintain backups versions of the files. Like let's suppose there is a file 1 with a version 1. Client came with the modifications and they need a version 2. Let's suppose you have edited the same version and made version 2, or else overwritten version 1 and made version 2. Don't ever do that. Maintain the versions, maintain the copies, maintain version, because after 6 months or else after few days, if version 2 is not doing good, they may want to revert back to version 1. Am I correct? Yeah. So always maintain the versions, maintain the backups. Don't delete or override or edit the existing versions. We need to maintain the versions of them. That's where again version control system comes in, right? These are all some of the scenarios where version control system comes in. Version control system can help you manage your files. Right, this is not being used only by developers. It's being used by developers, testers, DevOps team, anyone who want to manage their files. Of course, for developers, it's a mandatory, right? They ever been using this from long back, but now even DevOps teams have their configuration files, scripts, and everything, right? So even they need to maintain their versions. That's where version control system comes in. Understood? So you might be having a question, I'm a DevOps person, like why we need it. Like I answered the question, you are having the config files, scripts, Terraform files, Kubernetes manifest files. You can manage, you have to manage those files as well, right? Developers will be using it to manage their code base. Testers will be using it to manage their automation test scripts. All right, even DevOps teams have their own files which they need to manage. So version control system, everyone who want to work in IT should learn it. So this is one perspective of version control system. Another perspective is like whenever developer make changes to their code in their code base, we need to set a trigger to automate the pipeline. Like whenever they make changes, we need to write a pipeline which will pull the code, build it, and like the process of automation. So how do you integrate this version control system in the CI/CD pipeline? That is another aspect of version control systems. We will learn that as well. First, we will learn how to use Git or how to use a version control system to manage our files. Then we will learn to integrate in the pipeline so that we will learn the tool end to end. Any questions on this part? Are you clear why you are learning this version control system? Any files, any static files can be version control. It can be like developers may be using some program files like Java, .NET, C#, whatever. Or you might be like, we might be using it for Kubernetes files, Terraform files, and so on. So this is what a version control system is. Any questions, you can unmute and speak out, or else you can message me. So now we understood what is a version control system. Version control systems were categorized based on the types, like centralized version control system and distributed version control system. Centralized version control system and distributed based on their architecture. So let's first go with the centralized version control system. If you look into the centralized version control system, this is the central server or the repository or the remote repository, right? So this is the central server or remote repository where all the project based or the code based project files would be kept. And this is the workstation, like individual developer's machine or a DevOps person, whoever it is. This is called their working copy. Means they get the changes from remote. They download the changes from remote repository, make the changes here, put them back, right? So this is how they work. They pull the changes, make the changes, and put them back. Okay, that's what is a centralized version control system. That's a simple architecture, but there were drawbacks with this kind of architecture. Because each time they were pulling the changes from remote and making changes here, to work or to make any changes, network connections are needed. Let us suppose network connectivity is distorted, is network disconnected. Entire work will be halted, right? That's one of the major challenge. Second thing is, let's suppose the central server has all the code base. For some reasons, if the central server is gone or crashed, chances of recovery are less because it works like a single source of truth. If changes are lost, like from here, yes, they are gone from everywhere. This is the centralized version control system architecture, and the tools like SVN, TFS falls under this kind of architecture. Any questions? Okay, then comes the, if that architecture is clear, here is the architecture of distributed version control systems. If you see this distributed architecture, this is the remote server or central server where all the code base is kept. Okay. And this is the workstation of individual DevOps person or individual developer. Okay. Means let's say this is my laptop. So every developer or every collaborator will get a copy of this remote repository or central repository. Copy of this remote or central repository is called local repository. Okay. Again, we don't work on this local directly. Rather, we'll work on another working copy, means another folder or another directory, whatever you call it. You make changes here, move them to local. Until you move your changes to remote, no one else can see your changes. These are only confined for yourself. Only when you move your changes to remote, others can see your changes. Means if you want to share your changes, you have to move your changes to remote. Right? And if you see here, working with the remote is less. Means here push and pull commands. Means if you want to download the changes from remote, or else if you want to put your changes to changes back, we have pull and push. Means these are less frequent commands. Right? We do once in a while, like once complete changes are done from our end, we may push. But majority of the work happens here in the local repository. Majority of the work is happening here. Because of this, the advantage is, yes, you need network connectivity to push and pull. But even though network connection is disconnected, you can still work on local. Entire work is not halted. Once network connection is like a restored, resumed, you can push the changes. Right? So that's how it solves a problem faced by centralized version control system. Also, chance of recovery are more. Because see, even though the central server is gone or crashed, every developer is having a copy of their remote, which is called local repository. So chance of recovery are also more. Right? So this is how a distributed version control system works. Yes, Sampath, you will have a local repository on your own machine, on your local machine. Understood this architecture? Any questions in this architecture of distributed version control systems?
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, suppose if I'm, let's assume like this is A repository, B repository, and C local repository. And if you are working on, let's assume
not clear. Your voice is not clear, Ushal.
Ma'am, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's not clear. Can you try now? Repeat again, please.
Ma'am, this is okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, ma'am, let's assume this is working repository A, B, C, local repository. And I'm working on repository C. And if something happens and there your red point, the first one.
Again, not clear, breaking. Your voice is breaking. You said there are 3 local repositories, A, B, C.
Yeah, let's say B, C. So I'm working on A, and you done on C anything and you push it to C. So then it's already over. Means what I will do, because it's already you have done. Means you have changed the things and now the things has changed, and so what I am doing on A. So then means what's the use of it in what I am doing, because it's already on the main repository. It's overlap. So means you understand?
1 second, please. 1 second. Give me 1 second, Ujjwal.
Yeah, ma'am, please.
I'm just reconnecting the audio. Audio is not working. Give me a second. ఏం చేయను? Hello.
Yeah, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now it is better. Can you please
Yeah.
repeat?
Ma'am, I'm doing on working on
Hello.
A. Yeah, ma'am. I can hear you.
Am I audible?
Hello.
Am I
I can
audible?
hear both Ujjwal
Yeah.
and Preeti.
Yeah, ma'am. I can hear you very clearly. Ma'am, you are not. Is
Hello.
everybody is not hearing my voice or?
Yes,
We are
to
able
us,
hear
both of you are clear to us.
Yeah. Why ma'am is not understanding? I don't understand.
Yes,
Yeah, I
both of
can
you.
hear you now. Yeah. Now can you please go ahead? You are saying like
Yeah.
repositories ABC and you are making changes on A and then
On and you have done the lots of changes on C and you push all the things on the repository C. So what I am doing on A means then what's the use of that means because it's
see
already
these are the workstations or 3 different machines. Okay, 3 different users. Person A
Yeah.
is making changes here, person B making changes here, person C making changes here. Everyone will push the changes to remote. Everyone can pull the changes to remote.
Yeah. So if you have pushed the changes, then what I am doing on like A or what somebody is doing on B, because if you have done lots of changes on C and so central repository is also your main server repositories also gets changed, right?
Yeah.
So then means what I will do on change A, what I will do on change because it's already changed everything. So what I am doing on A, then what's the use of that?
See, this is, let's say this person is working on some Terraform changes. He was working on Terraform code to spin up an EC2 instance, a virtual machine. Here you might be working on Terraform code for Kubernetes. So both are different. Let's say they were pushing the changes to the remote server. Whether the changes are same, whether the changes are different, everyone will place their changes on remote finally.
Okay,
And
so
it will
different
not
applications
this will
that.
not allow overriding. This will not allow overriding. It will not do overriding or it will not ignore the changes. How it will work, we were going to do hands-on now.
Okay, means okay. I don't know Kubernetes also. I don't know Terraform also. So
See, that's why you don't need to know this. Just some changes. I just gave an example. DevOps persons might be preparing some Kubernetes files or Terraform files. Those files I'm talking about. That's why I'm not talking about any files. We didn't learn those tools. You don't need to know those tools. Let's say some simple text files. Okay, they were writing some text file. There's some project document, let's say.
One
so
more
that's
thing,
that's what
ABC,
yeah. That's what
ABC
ma'am.
can have the same. Oh,
Yeah. You are asking the same
yeah,
question what
okay.
I'm asking.
Yeah, ABC may have the same code or may have the different code.
Yeah.
Maybe
that
same or maybe different as well.
So ma'am, if the code is same, so it is overlap and what the C will.
It will not override. Okay, how it will not override, how to avoid overriding, we'll see. In the beginning, when we talked about version, what is a version control system, we discussed that it will not override, right? But how it will not override, we were going to do hands-on with all of those scenarios.
When you overwrite, right, Ujjwal, when you overwrite the changes or when you check in your changes and the files are being changed, then it is going to say that there is a trouble with the commit. It is going to tell you that.
It will not override, right?
Yeah, it will not override the changes.
Okay, ma'am.
It will not over if it overrides, what is the point of using a version control system? When we discuss what is a version control system in the beginning, that's the first thing we discussed. It will not allow overriding.
Okay.
Multiple
Now,
people can work parallelly on the same file at the same time as well. Git version control systems will not allow overriding.
now clear, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So yeah, this is the architecture of distributed version control system, and it overcomes a drawback posed by centralized version control system. Because of this architecture, it can overcome the challenges posed by centralized version control system. Like even though there is no network connectivity, we can still work on local. Once networks are resumed, you can push or pull the changes, right? This is how it works. And what are the tools that falls under this category, like distributed version control system? Git falls under this architecture. It is a distributed version control system. Git, Mercurial, Fossils, all of this comes under distributed version control system. And many of the or majority of the modern DevOps projects are using Git. If you master Git, you can work on any other tools. Like they will have the same concept, same analogy. The terminology may be different. So master one tool under this version control systems, which is Git. See here, this is the architecture which we can have only theoretically, but we are going to install it and we'll see practically these components and how it is happening and all. Understood the architecture? Any questions?
No.
All right. So this is a graph from 2020 from Google Trends version control system comparison. Git is the market leader when you compare with other tools like SVN, TFS and all. Right, it is very widely used. You can see the blue graph. So master the market leaders so that you have more exposure. This is more widely used, so you get more projects and all. And then coming to the we have discussed about centralized version control system architecture, distributed version control system architecture. This is the architecture of Git in particular. Okay, let's look into this. See, like we just discussed, there is a local repository, there is a remote or central repository, right? So, again, if you see local repository means this is on my local machine, local laptop, right? So, this is the local repository. Again, we don't work directly here, right? There is another directory or folder which is called as working copy or working directory. We actually make changes here. Okay, we make changes here and then push them to another layer called staging area. What is the staging area? This is also called as index area or staging area. It's a virtual layer. Okay, once you make your changes in the folder, you have to move them to staging. From staging, you have to move them to local. Means the point to note here is, it's not that you cannot move your changes straight away like this from working directory to local. This is not possible. Okay, there is a virtual means whenever you create a local repository, you will get this working directory, staging area and all. First, your changes should be moved to staging, from staging to local. Only then from local, you can move to remote repository where others can see your changes, right? As long as they were in local repository, they are confined only for yourself, right? Only if you, let's say you want to make your changes, changes available for others, you move those changes to the remote repository, right? This is the architecture. Now we may be having a question like, what is the staging area? What is its importance? Why do you need the staging area? See, staging area works like a preview or else pre-check before your changes go to local repository. It's like a kind of a test or else a preview, like I'm saying, right? Which will help you have better control on what changes are going to local. Means how is that possible? Let me tell you. Let's suppose you have 10 files in the working directory. Okay, out of this 10, I just want to move 5 files to local because other files are not yet complete, right? So you will move only those 5 files to staging area. Okay, and when you just, of course, these commands we will learn separately. And then when you commit, whatever in the staging area will be moved to local, right? This helps you have a better control on what changes are going to your local, right? What files are going to your local. It helps you have a better control. That's the importance of index area or staging area. It helps like a preview or a pre-check before your changes are moved to local. Once your changes are moved to local repository, then you do either git push or git pull. Understood? Here I would like to tell you few important things. Important and also interesting things, like 2 use cases. In few minutes, we are going to install Git and we're going to create this local repository and all. So let me tell you like why or how you will create a local repository. First use case might be, first scenario might be, let's suppose you join the project today as a DevOps person. It's a 2-year-old project. Already like a DevOps team is there. It's a DevOps old project, like already Kubernetes files, Terraform manifest files, everything were there. Or else let's assume you are a developer. Okay, you joined the project today. It's a Java project. Already a lot of code is there. Okay, this remote repository is already there because so many people, so many other developers were there, or DevOps team. Whether you consider a DevOps team as for an example, or developer or tester, whatever it is, whatever files they are, we are not bothered about what file it is now. We were now concentrating on how you version control the files. The file might be anything. It might be a developer code, a Java file, or else it might be a DevOps file, a Terraform file, whatever it is. Right? Here the idea is to learn the version control in the process. Okay, what is this file? What is inside the file? That's secondary. We can apply it to any project. So let's assume, yeah, you joined the project as a new team member today. It's old project. Already some code base is on remote. Now you want to make some changes and continue in the project. So you will create a local repository in this case by copying from remote. Am I correct? You copy from remote repository and create a local. This is the first use case. Agree with this use case, everyone? Like any questions in this? So you get a copy from remote. So you get a local repository into your system. You make changes then you push and you pull, like you will continue your work. That's the first scenario. Second scenario is, let's say it's a completely new project. You join the project as a DevOps engineer. It was a new project. Project is going to be from scratch. In this project, you may have to write the Kubernetes manifest files or Terraform code or some scripts, whatever. So there is nothing on remote. It's a new project, right? No one have contributed anything to the project. It's a completely fresh new project. There's nothing on remote. So you can create local repository can be created. See, these are the use cases to create a local repository. Okay, you can create a local repository in this case manually. An empty local repository can be created manually. Okay, just create a local repository, then develop the files, develop the changes, then push to remote, share it with others, and that's how it works. So the point to note here is local repository can be created in 2 ways depending on the use case. If already project is existing, you can copy from remote and create a local, or else if it's a new project, you can create a local empty repository, then develop the changes or files, whatever, and then push to remote. Git is a distributed version control system, Shrikant. It is not centralized version control system. Git will have only one architecture. This is the architecture of Git, and this is a distributed version control system. Got it? Can I go ahead? Appreciate your quick responses. Understood these use cases. We were talking about these use cases because we are going to do hands-on on both these scenarios.
Understand.
Staging area is like a pre-check, Kumar, like a preview. Right? Before you can't directly do this. You can't directly push your changes from working directly to local. Not possible. Or else from you have to push only from working directory to staging, from staging to local. It's like a 3 steps before your changes goes to remote. Directly you can't push. Okay, so now we understood this. All right, now let me tell you another interesting thing. Okay, this is local repository. Okay, and I'm talking about this local repository is like a folder or a directory, and this is another directory. But strictly speaking, practically speaking, this working directory, local repository is one and the same folder. Folder or directory, if you are Linux person, it's a directory, folder or directory. It's the same directory. Then you may be confused or you may be having a question, then how come you say working directory and local repository, isn't it? See, this working directory, local repository are physically the same, but logically they are different. Right? How logically they are different? What does it mean? Let me explain you. I'm clearing the screen. What is meant by that? Physically, it's the same folder or same directory. Means local repository is the same, working directory is the same. Then how come you say move the files from working to local? Let me tell you. It's the same folder. Okay, physical image is the same folder. Then if you just create a file here, means it is set to be in the working directory. Right? You just placed a file there. You just brought a file kept in this folder, means it's set to be in the working directory. Later, if you run git add, it's set to be in staging area. Later, if you run git commit, then actually it's set to be in local repository. File is same. File is in the same folder. But logically, this is how they were different. So local repository, working directory are one and the same. But logically, this is how they are different. See, these are the very basics, fundamentals of Git. We see people working on version control system but lacks these kind of basic concepts. They don't find it.
Ma'am, extension is the same or it's going to be changed also? Means if I add something, so in the
Extension
folder,
of what?
it's like if you have working create a file, so I create a file, then I add. So in the directory, there is some changes should be reflect, or like if I commit, so the working directory, the local thing is the same, but the extension of there is in the same directory there may be
Extensions will not be changed. Okay, files will have same extensions, but like how do you see the difference? How do you know which file
difference.
is? How do you know which file is present in working? How do you know which file is present in staging? We will see, but not with extensions. There is another way to see that. So this is the architecture of Git, right? Now that we understood architecture, Git architecture theoretically, now let's go and install Git and let's see all these components, like whatever we have seen, how to create a local repository or how is local repository working directory same. Let's see all of that practically. Good to go, or any more questions there?
Yeah, ma'am. Is there any possibility of keeping the local repository in a different directory?
Sorry, can you please come again?
Can we keep the local repository in a different directory? Is there any possibility?
You can put.
Okay.
You mean local repository can be in any location in your system.
Okay.
Right, now let us install Git. See, Git works on multiple operating systems. You can use Git on Windows, on Linux, Mac, anywhere you can use Git. Installing Git is very simple. Okay, now I'm going to install Git on Linux. On my Windows machine. On Linux also we'll see as we progress. Now you can just install Git on your local. Just type in Git download. Okay, this is how you should do. Don't save the links and all. You should know the process of how to do it. Of course, even those download links, everything is available. Before proceeding there, let me show you this. Like all the registered students by now might have got access to this Google Drive. Okay, here you have different folders like Git. If you go here, all the hands-on commands and Git installation steps on Windows. And even this presentation was available for your reference, which is very, very important. This architectural diagram, everything available here. And here, if you go, you have all the steps, step-by-step process of installing Git on Windows, including the screenshots. Okay, you can refer that. Now, let's install. See here, depending on your operating system, whether you want to use it on Windows or Linux, you can choose that. See, Git installation is different. Once it is installed, the steps would be same. Okay, the commands are same, like how to use Git, the concepts, commands would be same, irrespective of the operating system. Okay, so I'll be going with this because I want to do it on Windows and download this executable and run the executable. That's all. I've already done on my system. So this is how you should do. You should download the exe. Okay, choose this. This is the executable downloaded. Double click. You will be navigated through the steps in the wizard. I believe you all can do this, right? Just going through the wizard by clicking next option. So once it is installed, like once it is done, in the start menu, you will see something like Git Bash. Okay, this is the Bash terminal you will get when you install Git. This is where you can go with the Git hands-on. Okay, so yeah, Git works with the CLI as well as Git has also got GUI, like graphical user interface. But if you learn GUI, you will never learn the CLI. So to learn the tool properly, any tool, learn the CLI. That's what we are doing. Okay, now, okay, Git is installed. Perfect. Now, which folder or where is your project you need to version control? Okay, you may choose already existing folder here, which is like you may assume it like a project, or else you can create a local repository. See, sometime back we were talking about these two scenarios, right? These two. Right? How to create a local repository. Let's assume I'm taking up this use case now. Okay, I'll take up this first use case later. So I'm assuming it's a new project. There's nothing on remote. Now I want to create an empty local repository. Right? Good to go?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am. Continue.
Sorry?
Got it, ma'am. Got it, ma'am.
Okay,
Got
okay.
it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, let's take up this use case. Let's assume it's a new project. Okay. Now I want to create an empty local repository, develop the files there, and then move to remote. So how do you create an empty repository? Choose some location. See, this is the location. 1 second. Okay, you want to see the location. PWD means present working directory. See, you might have seen command line, command prompt from your Windows, right? Like how you use CLI, similar to it, you can use here. Okay, if you are not comfortable with CLI, you can use the GUI also, fine. Like you can go to the folder and do it. But to create a local repository, an empty local repository, run the command git init. Okay, but choose some folder. Let's say I would create from GUI only. Okay, let's suppose I want to create some folder to manage my projects. Let's say I'm creating something called a Git demo. Okay, I want to put my project here. So I have created a folder. Now I want to make this Git project folder as a Git local repository. So go to that folder. Okay, how do you go there? Like if from the GUI, you double click and navigate. From CLI, how do you go? Simple bash commands. CD means change directory, right? Like you do in a command prompt. So now the prompt says I'm in that folder. So go to the folder and run the command called git init. So in whichever project you are running Git in it, that becomes a local repository. See here, initialize empty Git repository is created. Means now this is the local repository. This is the working directory. Also, if you see hidden files, ls-a will show the hidden files. You will see .git. Or else you don't know the CLI. No problem. Just come here and refresh it. And also go to view and view the hidden files. View hidden files was the refresh it. Okay, do you see .git? Right? You are seeing .git means it's a local repository. Local repository created. Local repository, and it's nothing but a, what is it? Working directory as well, right? So yes, local repository is created. Okay, fine. But there are no files, right? It's an empty one. Now let's suppose I just want to create some file here. Okay, you may create any files. Let's say you want to assume yourself as a developer, you may create some program files. If you are a DevOps person, you'll create some Terraform files. But here I'm just creating a simple text file. Okay. So whatever be the file, the concepts remain same. I just want to concentrate on version control system. So I'm just creating some dummy files. Okay, let's say file 1. Right, a simple text file. You may see here, or else if you prefer CLI ls, file is there. Okay, but file is there. Is it being version controlled by Git? Yeah, let's see the status. Git status command tells you where is this file. It's telling you Git knows there is a file called file1, but Git cannot track it. Why it cannot track it? Or else what does it mean? File is present means, can you tell me where is the file? Where is the file in the sense with respect to this architectural diagram?
Working directory.
Yes, where is the file?
It's in
It's in the working directory.
In the working directory. Just some time back we discussed, right? It's the same folder. Working directory, local repository are physically the same. Okay, but logically they were different. Means it is in the same. Git project is my local repository. Git project is my working directory. But I just created a file, means it's said to be in the working directory, and it is giving me a clue to add the file. So what I'll do? Git add file 1. Okay, now I'll see the status. See, now it says changes to be committed. It's not saying it is untracked. It's saying changes to be committed. Means where is the file? See this architectural
staging
diagram and
area.
answer.
Staging
local
area.
It's
repo.
in staging
Local.
area.
Exactly.
Staging area.
To be
Staging
committed
area.
means they were not committed. They were in the staging area. Right? Okay, fine. They were in the staging area. I want to place it in local means what I should do?
Commit.
Git commit -m. M means message. M flag is mandatory. You should provide some message or some comment kind of. Like let's say first file. Now if you do git status, it says everything is clean. What does it mean? Everything clean means whatever in this folder were being in the local repository. Because this is a local repository, any files you keep here will be version controlled by Git. Right? This is the basic architecture or the concept which everyone should be confident with. Like how your changes move
Ma'am, 1 minute.
from staging to local. Tell me please.
Yeah, but you didn't give that file name. You just mentioned only the message, right?
When you give the message, whatever in the staging area will be committed. There might be 5 files, 4 files, whatever in the staging area will be moved to local.
Ma'am, she's asking. Hello, ma'am.
Tell me please.
Yeah, ma'am, that the message, I think she's asking about the message m minus m. So like this one, first file. Yeah, so we can give any message. This is just for
Any
our
message
reference.
you can give. This is user defined. This is for you to later refer and understand what this commit is about.
And if we not want to give this?
Mandatory. You can't ignore.
Mandatory. Okay.
So this is how you commit. Let us do the same with another file, okay, so that the things should be clear. Again, I'm showing physically same folder, right? Can you tell me what is your local repository here? Git project is the local repository, right? And what is the working directory?
This folder.
Again, Git project is the local working directory as well.
And
Everything
staging area
is only
same.
this one. Physically the same folder. Okay, logically it's different. I have one file. I'm repeating the same scenario with another file so that still any more questions, confusions should be resolved. Okay, I created some file. See, again I'm saying you may create any file. It might be Java program file, Python script file, it might be Terraform file, Kubernetes, whatever it is. We were learning version controlling the files. Later on, we will apply all these Git concepts to our Terraform code, Kubernetes, Terraform scripts, Kubernetes files, Ansible playbooks, and so on. Okay, developers may use them for project, whatever it is. Okay, any text file, any static file can be version controlled. So I'm creating some dummy files. If you have interest, you can create any files upon your choice. Now, okay, file 2 is created. Can you tell me where is file 2?
Ma'am, in the working directory.
Working directory.
How do you know where is the file?
PWD.
ls will show the
Okay.
file, like ls will list the
Git
files in a
status.
particular
Git
folder.
status.
ls will show the files in a particular folder, like it is listing the files. Okay, now I have got this, and git status will tell you like where is this file. Untracked file, it's untracked, please add it. Means this confirms where is our file.
Working directory.
Working directory.
Working directory, right? This confirms. Not only that, ls is a simple Linux or bash command which lists the files in the folder. If you are not comfortable, you check the files this way like a Windows user. Okay, nothing, no problem. Now, yeah, there is another command called git ls files. This is a git command. This will list the files in the staging area and the local repo. See, you don't say file 2 here. Got the difference? This is
Okay.
another way you can check where your file is. Okay, and then okay, because it's not being tracked, let's add it. Git add.
Ma'am, what does this get ls files show?
It shows the files in the staging area and local repository.
Both staging and local, both it will show.
Yes. See, both means your files are in local repository, means they are in staging area also, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So ma'am, do we have any command for git like the last stage, the commit we have done, like git ls minus file, so it's a staging area. So do we have any command like we have n numbers of files? So we just
have those commands, Ujjwal. Okay, we are going. We have. See, git add file 2. Git add file 2 means like we were moving them to staging. Now tell me where is this file?
Staging.
Staging
area. Obviously, it's in the staging area. That's why it's asking me to commit the changes. So what I can do, git commit -m flag is mandatory. Let's say second file. Whatever. This can be your own comment. Okay. Now when you commit, yes. Can you tell me where are these changes now?
Local.
In local repository. Now git ls files is showing both of them. Right?
Right.
Okay, so this is how it works. And now let me show you another interesting thing. See, whatever changes, like whatever commits you have done, till now we have made 2 commits. You can see the history of commits using the command git log. Okay, like we said, Git is a tool which can also provide you detailed logging. Git log will help you with the history of commits. Whenever you are running commit command, every commit will create this hash code, a unique hash code, right? And it shows all the commit history, including the timestamp. You might have registered with your name so that your name and email ID can be shown here. Timestamp, October 2nd, 6:55. commit message is important because let's say you made some 30 commits. Later on, you don't know what this commit is about. This is comment so that you can understand at a later point of time what this commit is all about. Like it is maybe about some Terraform configurations, whatever. You can put a proper message. That's the importance of message. And if you just want to see a brief log, not a detailed log, git log 1-line flag. Right? You will see the history of commits. Only first 7 characters are enough. So those 7 characters and the commit message. Just to see a brief log. Right? So whenever you commit, a commit message, commit ID will be created. And you see the commit history with the log command. This is my local repository. I'm developing here. Later on, I'll push to remote. Before you push to remote and share it with others, there are many things we should learn here, which we are doing it now. And till now, we were creating new files. Shall we see modifying or editing the existing files? Good to go?
Yes.
Question. So you are telling about ls command. So normal ls command wouldn't show staging and local files.
Yes, it will not show. It will just list the files in the folder. It's just a Linux command.
Okay. And this one-line thing, what it will do?
Brief log. It will show the brief log. Git log will show all the detailed log. Git log 1-line will show brief log. Brief log means simple log. It will not show all these details. Just the ID and the message.
Okay. Okay.
Now that we were learning the staging area, local repository, working directory, let's see modifying the files. Till now we created new files, we were adding and committing, right? Let's see modifying the existing file. I would like to modify this way. Just go here. Here is the file. I'm just putting some dummy content like okay, save it. Done. Now I made a change. See, remember one thing, Git works with respect to changes. It's not about the files. Okay, it's about the change. Any change should go through the same process, working directory, staging area, and local repository. Just see the status. What is status telling us?
Modified.
File 1 is modified.
It shows that
Changes not staged. Earlier it was showing untracked, but now why it is saying not staged? What is the difference? Where is the file? Where is this file one?
It's not staged, means it's in the working directory.
It is in the working directory only, but why was it showing as unstaged?
Ma'am, because it is not a new file. Whenever we do so it will show that it's not a new file. We are changing the old file, so it is showing like this.
So what is the difference between?
So ma'am, it's not a new file, no. So if there is a new file, it is untracked.
Fine, yeah. Marker is not coming. Now give me a second.
The thing is, file is already there, but the changes are not committed into the staged.
Yeah. See here, unstaged changes. I'm just trying to write with the marker. It was not writing. That's okay. So, like not staged means unstaged changes. What is the difference between unstaged and untracked changes? This is very important. Like you need to have clarity on like what is an unstaged change.
Unstaged means it is in the working.
It's not a new file. It's not a new file. It's a working. It's an old file, and we do modification in that.
Still in the local changes.
It is in the working directory. The changes
Ma'am,
are
the file is not new, and we have changed in the old file.
See, if it is a new file, okay, if it is for the first time, it will be shown as untracked file.
Untracked.
Okay, here file 1 is not a new file. Already it's there in the staging area. Certain changes were unstaged. That's all. File is not unstaged here. Changes were unstaged, right? So that's where you will see this unstaged changes. Okay. We were just talking about unstaged and untracked, right? Untracked means it's a new file. So at this point, what you have to do, git add and git commit. Here also the same. For unstaged changes, yes, you have to move them to staging area and then to local. So you have to add and commit. Or else because it is unstaged, you can do with a single command like git commit -a. You can do with a single command. This is the advantage. Got the difference? If it is untracked, you can't do with a single command. You have to do them separately only.
Ma'am, what the A will do, ma'am? It's a hidden
Add
file
and
will show.
commit. Add and
Add.
commit. Add to staging area and commit. Add to staging area. What it will add to staging area? Unstaged changes, not new files. So which one shall we use now?
A -a.
Let's use -a. Okay, we have done already separately. Let's do this. File modifications or whatever. Done. Now if you do status, yes, right?
Now it isn't working directly.
It's in the local repository.
Local repository. Now the changes is made.
Yeah. Now it is local.
Now the changes are in local repository. Right? This is how whether you modify a file or whether you create a new file, every change should be moved from working directory to staging area, from staging area to local repository. Right? That is how it works. Got
so
it
we
clear?
don't have to add again. Previously we added and committed. But
now also we added and committed. -a means add.
-a.
If it is not new file, you can do it with a single line this way. Means for unstaged changes, you can do this way. But for untracked changes, you have to do it separately only.
Okay.
Got the difference between untracked and unstaged? Untracked and unstaged now, right?
Yeah, got it.
Understood, everyone? Is this much clear?
Can you run git log once again?
Huh?
Can you run git log once?
Git log will show you all the commits, all the commits.
Okay.
You want to see a brief log, git log 1 by. Third commit is also same there.
Okay, thanks.
Right? Let us look into another interesting thing. But before doing that another interesting thing, let me tell you about the editor. See, here we are editing the files with a notepad, a simple editor notepad or notepad++. Developers may be writing a lot of code. They might be using some other editors. Lot of editors are there. Here we can use some editor like VS Code editor, Visual Studio Code editor. Editor means which will help you to edit the files. That's all. Okay. It is very simple. Just download it and open it from the start menu. That's all. I'm opening this one. This is a great editor. This can be used by developers, testers. This supports multiple languages. Okay, this supports multiple languages. This is the one we are using very widely. Okay, to manage our Terraform files, Kubernetes manifest files. All of them can be version controlled. So what you will see, you will just see a welcome page initially. Go to file, open the folder whichever you want to work on. This one, right? Git project. See, it will show you all the files here, a better way to edit your files, right? Also, I'm using Git Bash this way. You can also launch that Git Bash terminal from your VS Code editor. Go to terminal, new terminal. Here itself you can open. Okay, it's a PowerShell is installed. If PowerShell is installed in your system, in your Windows, it will show you. Otherwise, you like Git Bash is installed, you can go for it. The same way, whatever you are seeing, it works here. So rather than opening another window and editing the files with a notepad or notepad++, this is the better way. Get used to it. Companies are also looking for hands-on with these editors because this provides a convenience and ease to manage your files. This shows whether you have hands-on experience or not. So start using this. Okay. And this editor will help you with the auto completion, syntax highlighting and all when we start working with our configuration scripts. So get used to it. So yeah, I have made a file, like 2 files, all of that you can see. And there's a question regarding what is the head concept, what is the head and all. We'll learn it as we progress, Sampath. All right. So you can manage your files better here.
Pretty one question. So, so when you have created a file in the working directory, so before making a changes, before we make a commit, so can we see the file which is in local directory at the same time?
You can see, right? You can see here.
So, like, does it have that changes?
Huh?
Does it have that changes? What we
If you
make on the
save
file?
the changes, yeah, it will have the changes.
So before committing, can we
It will
can
have.
we see
If you
the file?
save it, save is different from commit. Even though you don't commit, if you save it, changes will be there.
Okay. Can you show it once?
I'm just trying to show you another scenario. So anyway, I'm creating a new file. Now I have this editor. I'm creating the file this way, file3.txt. Okay, I have got the file. Now I just want to input something. Okay, save it. Done. Now if I do ls, I have the third file. If you want to see the content, cat command will help you. We'll learn all these Linux commands separately.
So now the file is in working
You want
directory.
to see, 1 second, please. If you want to see the content, you can see this way. Or else if you just want to go with the Windows fashion also, you can go here. There is refresh. Right, you see the third file, you may open like this also, you are seeing the content. Or else as we are using VS editor, I can see. Yeah, tell me now.
So now the file is in working directory, right?
Correct.
So we haven't pushed any code to Git.
Git status tells you the file is in the untracked, means it's in the working directory.
So can we view the local directory file? So
can we
view the local directory
No, ma'am.
file?
First, we have to add a staging area, then we can go to the local repository, right?
So yeah, before committing.
You're trying to ask that comparison. I mean, like a difference between the.
Yeah, I want to see the difference between like before committed and after committed in the local directory.
You are seeing here, right? ls is listing the files. I did not add to staging area. Git ls files is not showing the file.
I think maybe he asking the committed difference, the version 1, version 2. Committed differences. Version 1.
Ma'am, I think he's asking means before, after the committing the file and
Difference
before in the
between the
staging
previous
area. What is the difference? How we can see that difference?
You are seeing here, right? You did not commit. Git ls files is not listing this file.
This is the git command.
Git command will show you. See, Git is a version control system. Git commands only will show you the differences. ls commands will not show you. It's a folder. It's a file in the folder. It's physically a file in this folder. That's all. If you don't use Git, it's just a small file in my system.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Git commands will tell you the difference. Git is a version control system. It is different. This file is different for Git, not to the file system on this machine. It's a simply another file, that's all.
Okay, I'm little confused between the Linux commands and Git commands. So yeah, now I'm
This is a Linux command, will show you just all the files in the directory. Linux command means it's not a version control system. It's just from CLI. In Windows, you do it from GUI, like you double click, you open the files and all. Linux is like from CLI. If you want to see the list of files in this folder, you will do ls. That's a Linux command.
Ma'am, can you show that command, git command also for the git ls minus
Here it
files?
is,
So we,
git
yeah,
ls
ma'am.
files.
That is okay. For this is for the staging area. We can see that, but for the commit is how many we have done the commit in that. So what is
Commit
the
will
command
not
for
be,
that?
there is no separate command to see what are all the files committed. Okay,
Oh.
git ls files is the command which will show you files in the local repository or in the staging area. If it is in staging area also, it will show you. There is
But
no
for commit,
separate,
for commit.
there is no separate command to see the files in the local
So
repository.
if we want to see how many commit we have done, we have n numbers of files, like 100, and we just want a git log.
This is how you
one
see.
line.
And then you go and see git show the commit ID. Each commit ID will show you what changes happened there. Like, okay, this is about file 1. You see this way. Not a list of, a separate command is not there. Okay, generally this is the command we use. And by the way, where is this file? See, another advantage of using this VS Code editor is here it will show you, if you keep the cursor untracked, right? It is clearly showing you what you need to do now. That's all. Add the file.
Git add dot. Git add.
Now, if you keep the cursor, it tells you index added means added to staging area. Right? See here, you don't say anything like it was all clean. It was in the local request.
If we see the commit git status, it will clean all. It will not show anything. Right, ma'am?
Yep. Working trace too. Another thing is like you may modify here. Let's suppose I'm again modifying it. Okay, I just made modification. Now tell me, is this file like where are there changes now?
Madam, before going for these changes, we have committed everything, right? So through commit ID, we can see the differences, what we have committed. Suppose this is the working directory, or suppose if I cloned it, I want to show this, what exactly that files you have changed it. How we can track all those changes?
Git status will show you all those changes.
No. The changes, it is in your working directory and the local repo, right?
From remote also, it works the same way. Once we go to the remote, I'll show you that. For remote also, git status command will work. When you clone it, that's what you're saying, right? You have a repo on remote.
Yeah, this is the repo you worked on it. I wanted to clone it. After cloning, I wanted to see what is the changes you have made it and give it to us.
That's what git status command will work. Okay, we were going to execute those scenarios. I'll show you that also.
But it will show only for working directory and staging changes, right? Status will show that. But since I cloned it, I didn't change.
See, committed means git status saying clean means all of these are committed, right? That's what is the meaning. Means all the files were committed.
Yes, I understood this one. In case if I cloned your repository into my local.
Srikanth, shall we take up this when we clone? Actually, we did not clone now, right? Let's clone it and we'll discuss it so that it would be very clear for everyone else. We did not clone it yet. Okay, let's put this question on hold. Let's go to clone and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Here I'm just trying to show you a command. Here I made some changes, a modification, right? This file is having some modifications. Now this file is having unstaged changes or not?
It's still in the working.
Is this file having unstaged change or not?
Yes.
Unstaged.
Unstaged change.
To see the unstaged changes of the file, git diff file3 will show you the unstaged changes of the file. Do you see the git diff file 3? Right? And to see the staged changes of the file, git diff staged flag will show you.
Ma'am,
Right?
excuse me,
Nothing
ma'am.
is staged.
Ma'am, can you explain this get diff file3.txt we did? What is this @ -1 +1 2 @
This is
and
all git verbose. Okay, just ignore the see here. Plus
okay.
symbol is like you are seeing this line is added. If any line is removed, it would be shown with minus. This is a previous change. It was showing like a minus. And then
plus is the
when you
hello.
add something in the line, it will show you. See, the whole point is here, diff command will show you the unstaged changes of the file. Unstaged changes means just now I made a change. I don't have any, like I have some unstaged changes. Diff command will show you. Let's suppose I'm staging it. Git add file pic. Okay. Now is this file having any unstaged changes? Is this
Yes.
file
No.
unstaged
No.
change?
No.
Just
Did
now
you
we
commit?
have staged it, right? Just now I have staged it with the git add.
Okay,
Now it's
okay,
a
okay. Yes.
staging area.
Sorry,
Now
sorry, I
it's in the
missed that.
staging area.
Yeah, it is in the staging area, so it's not having unstaged changes. So at
Correct.
this point, if you do git diff file name, it's not showing anything. No unstaged.
And ma'am, can you do that command git staged
See, please
minus diff
listen. I'm going to do that. Please listen. Let me complete the scenario. Okay, I'm not yet done. Please listen. So git diff is showing the unstaged changes, right? No unstaged changes, so it's not showing any output. Now tell me, is this file having staged changes or not?
Yes.
Yeah. Where is the change? Like
Yes.
where is the modification? Refer
in
to
the
this architectural diagram and
in the
answer. Always
local
keep this
in the
diagram in your
working.
mind.
Yeah, ma'am.
So this is obviously having staged changes. So git diff staged flag will show you those staged changes. See, the same changes were staged, right? So diff command can help you see what changes were staged, what changes were unstaged for a particular file. It's not having any unstaged changes. So no output when you run git diff file name. But it has got staged changes. When you run git diff staged flag, you are seeing certain changes, right? Now there were there were staged changes. I would like to move to local repository. Git commit -m text file modified, something like this. Right? Now if you see, yes, everything is clean. Right? Now if you do diff, no unstaged changes. Git diff stage, no staged changes as well. Everything is committed. This is another way to check your staged and unstaged changes on a particular file. Understood, everyone?
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, if there is unstaged thing, it means that we are not. It's like a old file, and we are doing the modification. And if it's written, it's untracked, that we are working on the new file. Right, ma'am?
Correct. Correct.
Thank you, ma'am. That's clear.
Ma'am, in case we incorrectly or no, by mistake we made commit or added, so is it possible to revert back if I don't want add?
Possible. Committed changes can be reverted. Staged changes also can be reverted. To revert committed changes, we have revert command. To remove from staging area, we have restore command. Okay, we will look into those commands tomorrow. See, many scenarios and many things are coming up. Okay, we'll go one by one. This is how you can see, you can use diff command. We'll see another interesting scenario to explore this diff commands, and then we'll proceed to reverting, deleting the files. Till now, we created the files, we modify the files. We'll talk about deleting the files, ignoring, reverting, resetting, rebasing, branching. Okay, then we'll talk about the different branching strategies, master branch, and so on. Those are all coming up. Let's go step by step. And remind you, keep this architectural diagram in your mind always. and we were still on local. We did not go to remote. We were here. We were still here on local. We did not go to remote, because before you go to remote, there are many things we need to do. We will learn all of them and then we'll go to remote. Maybe tomorrow also we have so many things to do on local. The next day we'll push to remote, like maybe on Wednesday. What is your remote, how to work with remote, how to connect, all of them are coming up. How do you clone? How do you avoid people to override the changes? How can you allow files to be like without overridden? All of that will see. Right? Any more questions? Yes, and
one quick question
tell me,
regarding the file access you made the PPT and all. So you told somewhere it is there. How do we get access to that?
okay. Before I answer these questions, let me tell you. See, the session would be completely informative. Okay. The course is designed in such a way that it will be a power pack course, I can say. Meaning, in the complete like a 1.5 hour session, we'll have 1 hour 15 minutes completely informative. Means every step I explain, or else everything I speak up is very important. Nothing like this is ignore this one, okay, we can continue tomorrow, or else okay, let's skip this and let's go to the next step. No, everything is very important, designed in such a way that what all required for the course. Okay, like yes, thanks Sampath for your message. Like I'm saying, listen completely. Okay, listen thoroughly. Everything will be covered, whichever is required, end to end real scenarios. If you have questions, yes, let me finish my explanation of the particular thing, then put your questions. Okay, listen and then put your questions. That's a request from my end, so that I could deliver what all I have to. I can deliver my best, then put your queries. Okay, in the middle of completing the topic, if you put, you may be at loss, I may be missing something, or we may get diverted or deviated to something else. Okay, let's listen thoroughly. You prepare a running notes. We provide notes, commands, everything from your end. You prepare a quick running notes from your end. Something you did not follow, mark it down. Okay, and put it at the end, or else at the end of the topic. Right? So that will help you to not to miss the things which I am explaining currently. And also you will get to know what you lost, like what you missed. Right? So let us utilize the sessions 100%. Let's have a productive sessions. Right? And hope to have your cooperation throughout. And coming to the notes, it is there on the Google Drive. Once registered, you will get access to this Google Drive. Okay, where you have all the installation steps, including the screenshots and the commands, whatever we have used. Okay, the hands-on commands were here. Like whatever commands I have used, everything is here. Git installation, working directory, staging area. Not only this, on the website, actually this is where you should refer for the lab. Please stay back, I'm showing you. Here is the lab material. Okay, if you go here, here is of course the Google Drive link and the lab practice for Git. See, here are the commands, including the explanation. Do you see this, everyone? So that you can complete the hands-on today itself. Not that you are doing this hands-on tomorrow. You might be well versed with Git. You might be a manager, or you might be a very senior person. You are well versed with Git. But I would request, my humble request, to go through the hands-on. Okay, just like a revision kind of. Okay, let's be on the same pace with how we were doing the hands-on. Okay, as we go by, the sessions become like a more hands-on, lot of hands-on, complete hands-on would be there. Tomorrow, no theory at all. No theory in the sense, wherever we need, we'll discuss. But yeah, from the beginning, we have hands-on. So be prepared. Okay, get to do the hands-on. See, Git log, Git one line, everything were explained here. Use this to your hands-on, finish it up by tomorrow. And as we progress, we did not step into the actual scenario set. We were still on the basics. Okay, once we step into the actual scenarios, like let me show you. Yeah, If you go to the same interview questions, again topic wise, okay, you have scenario based questions here, like how you answer the scenario based questions on Git, what are all the different things. Also, there were assignments. Okay, still we are on basics, but as we step into some content, you will get all these assignments, scenario based questions, you need to do it. So spend your time completely. I mean, whatever time amount of time you could, okay, put the dedication and dedicate some time for the hands-on every day. And please listen the classes carefully. Please be regular to the sessions. Yes, Sureka, here is the website link. It's just preethidevops.com. And once registered, you will get login access to everything. You may not be able to access all of them now, but once you register, you will get the login to that portal, like LMS. So that is
The
all
registration,
from my end.
the registration means we have to pay the fees. That's when that process will complete, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You can check with Mr. Raj and complete your fee payment and you will get access to this. So do the hands-on. WhatsApp,
One more
another
question.
thing, 1 second, please. Another WhatsApp group will be created, okay, where you'll be moved to the dedicated WhatsApp group. You can post your queries there. By the end of the day, WhatsApp group will be ready and we'll add the registered students. We'll move them to that group. Yeah, please, Darshan, tell me.
Yeah, so are we installing Git on our local machine or on a virtual box that you give us? How does that work?
You can put it on your laptop now. Okay. Once we get into AWS, how to put it on AWS machine also we will see. If you know how to use Git, you can clone it on any other machine.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
If you are getting like any type of in the middle problem or some type of any thing which you did wrong or some we are in the struck mode, so we can get some type means where we can means any kind of help like on that time, or we can post the picture on the WhatsApp and somebody can help.
Yes, Ujjwal, that's what we have WhatsApp group, a separate WhatsApp group. You can post your queries with the screenshots there. Others, like all the participants will be there. Our team will be there. They can respond. And if I am available, I'll respond. And yeah, we'll try to provide the help as soon as possible.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Am I audible? Yeah. Apart from the assessment, so we'll be having end-to-end separate projects also. So just to clarify once.
Separate?
Means as you said that there will be projects also. So apart from the assessments, we'll be having separate projects discussions
Of course,
also,
Sumit.
something like
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Understood your question. Yes,
Yeah.
we will have a project. See, now today we learned like how to move the files, how to add the files and all. For this, there is no scope of project explanation, right? But yes, we are going to do the project. Project comes in when we start the pipeline actually. Once Git is completed, okay, we will be working on creating the CI/CD by Git in integration with Maven. There comes the project. And yes, we are going to implement the CI/CD pipeline on multiple projects. Like one project is a monolithic one, another one is a microservice project, and the third project is there which we'll provide to you for you to do the hands-on. Okay, the projects are like where you can execute all the scenarios and number of pipelines will be created. Let me show you few of them here.
Yeah, but apart from the assessments, it will be like for more like clarity and for more deep dive.
I'm showing. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
So there is a one project. This is Maven Java project called Latest Book project. See here, you have got 17 branches. Means different pipelines. How you can create a pipeline with Ansible, with Argo CD, with the Docker, with the Kubernetes, right? With the Jenkins. Different ways of the pipelines were there. This is one project. You have another microservice project. a database project, like where you have a PHP and database at the backend. Here again, you have Ansible, Terraform, Docker, Compose integration. This is the integration with Docker Compose. I have this cloned, like a forked in multiple repos actually. This is having few more. These are all the pipelines we'll be covering. So you can imagine how much of hands-on you would do. This is another one, Game of Life project, where you'll be creating multiple branches. Of course, here it's not there. They were named as release. But yeah, like integration with the different tools and all. I'll show you one. This is where you have a pipeline where deployments would happen through Argo CD. This is where you'll do the deployments through Docker, through Ansible and so on. End-to-end pipelines will be created by integrating the tools. This is your Jenkins file. How to prepare all these pipelines, how to create all of them, all of this will be covered.
These codes we need to download or some dummy codes we need to take also?
We will not write the code. Okay, code will be developed by developers. We will write our config files like Terraform, Jenkins file, those files.
Okay, but we need some dummy code to deploy those.
Huh?
We need some dummy code to deploy those, right?
That code is there. That's what is address book project. We don't write the code. It's not dummy code. It's an address book Java application. Already an open source project available. We'll be working.
Okay. For open source we can take and we can
on that we'll create our pipelines. One is a monolithic one, another one is microservice one. There is one more microservice one, online shopping one, the third project. That also will work.
Okay. Those we can get from open source just for deployment purpose. We can download those. Okay.
We have to write our own DevOps things.
Yeah, we'll download those open source code and then we'll deploy and
we'll create pipelines about it.
Pipelines and all.
Yeah.
This microservices application we will deploy by Kubernetes.
Multiple ways I'll show you with it. Not only through Kubernetes, we'll integrate with Ansible, we'll do it with the Terraform, lot many ways, lot many scenarios we are going to discuss. You're talking about one scenario deploying microservice on Kubernetes. I'm talking about other scenarios as well. When you deploy it on Kubernetes, your Kubernetes should be spinned up with Terraform. And also your deployments should happen via Ansible. Even those will be covered. That's what 17 pipelines also I'm showing you, right? All of those pipelines, like at least not, if not all of them, different scenarios will be covered to execute pipelines in different ways by integrating with different tools.
Okay,
one more query. So recently I heard Git also do CI/CD process. Any inclusion on this?
GitLab CI/CD. It's a GitLab CI/CD and GitHub Action serves like a continuous integration service. Yeah, they can be used. In this course, we will not go through them. We are not going through them. We'll be doing the CI/CD with the Jenkins.
Madam, these projects are included in that the course duration, madam. And what I mean is the entire course duration is 2 months, right? So that's inclusive of these projects. There is no additional time for these projects.
See, in the class itself today, we were learning our topic twins. That's where we execute the project with. It's not a topic separate and project separate. Yes, they are included within the duration.
Okay. And second thing is when you say Git GUI, is that the one that you're showing?
Not that one. Like when we are running Git add, Git commit, you have GUI for that as well.
Oh, okay.
All right, then that's all from my end. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to me or Mr. Raj. Okay, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp or call me or connect with Raj. Okay, for further queries. And one more second, please don't drop. I have one more thing. Just a second. I'm just pasting something in the WhatsApp group as Zoom chat as WhatsApp group will be creating by the end of the day. But for today, I'm posting it in the Zoom chat. Quiz for today. Please complete it. Okay, you can finish it up. I would get the results as well.